Live from Arkansas streaming news leader, this is THV 11 Morning News at 7 on THV 11 Plus.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on THV 11 Plus. Tracy is checking on weather and traffic right now. We want to bring you a shot from our tower cam currently. What you're looking at is just south of I-630 right now. That is near Broadway, right near downtown Little Rock. What appears to be a fire near Broadway on the south side of I-630 this morning. Again, no reports so far from Little Rock Police or Little Rock Fire. We're going to continue to check on this. In fact, we're getting a crew ready to head that way. It's only actually a few blocks from our station, so we're going to send somebody over there and find out exactly what is going on. But you can clearly see some smoke and flames south of 630, that is near Broadway, this morning.
Yeah, and I've just checked their social media, nothing released yet as well. So like Hayden said, we'll tell you the very latest as soon as we find out as well. It looks like something new that's developing. We'll pass it along.
All right, Tracy, how are you this morning?
Yeah, so far so good. We've actually had a little bit of traffic to deal with, which is what I was trying to find over there as a better angle for it. And weather-wise, things are looking good though, so that's good news this morning. Yeah, winds have settled. Yeah. So downtown, of course, I don't know necessarily anything about the traffic down there, but I would avoid that area. But hopefully, most people are off work or lighter volume there. But otherwise, we had an accident in Jacksonville this morning that was kind of slowing things down a little bit. So let's take a look at that this morning. Hindenburg view there, and it's moving now, but it was backed up quite a bit there. We are still showing the accident again. It's still a little bit slow in a few areas, so take your time this morning if you are coming in from that Cabot area. But overall, it's starting to unwind just a little bit there. So again, just take your time, and we'll see it thin out here pretty quickly, I think, especially with the live volume. But if you are coming in from Conway or Benton, things are looking good this morning. Cabot still slow down a little bit as you're making your way coming through Jacksonville, but it was at 28 minutes. So certainly seeing things get just a little bit better there as we are heading into the 7 o'clock hour. All right, talking about weather again, we are continuing to see again clear skies out there. We're still again watching this area. It's right there by the interstate, so again, avoid that area traffic wise, but it looks like there is emergency vehicles on the scene, so we'll of course have more for you on that here in just a minute. But those clear skies allowed for those temperatures to drop this morning. So we started out with temperatures in the 20s and with just a little bit of wind there, starting to see some very chilly wind chill temperatures as well. Now that northerly flow will continue, the sunrise around 7:16, so we're getting there in just a few minutes, and we're going to continue to see again those temperatures start to warm up today. 24 in the capital city right now, and we are seeing just a little bit of a wind there around 6 miles per hour, but temperatures around the state vary anything from the teens up to the mid to upper 20s. So once our winds start to shift a little bit more down south, we're going to start to see things warm up. But this morning, grab that coat as you're heading out the door. Wind chill is 17 in Little Rock. Again, Stuttgart 15. Hot Springs just a little bit warmer, but it's still cold for you, friends. So again, bundle up. But looking for highs today in the mid to upper 40s. But once those winds shift, we'll start to see western and southwestern Arkansas heat up just a little bit before the rest of us.
All right, Tracy, thank you. And a THV 11 update. The former owner of several Arkansas nursing homes, pardoned by President Donald Trump on federal charges, is now in state custody. Joseph Schwartz reported to the Department of Corrections on Monday after a judge rejected his attempt to delay the jail time. Schwartz pleaded guilty earlier this year to Medicaid fraud and tax evasion for his Skyline healthcare facilities in Arkansas. Trump pardoned him last month after serving 3 months, leaving 9 months on his one-year state term. He is eligible for parole after 31 days. Schwartz also owes over $1 million in restitution for false Medicaid claims and withholding employee taxes.
Developing this morning, another deadly strike on a suspected drug boat off the coast of Venezuela. The Pentagon releasing this video overnight of the strike. It marks the 30th strike against alleged drug targets in the region this year, killing more than 100 people. We're also learning the U.S. has carried out its first drone strike inside Venezuela, which happened reportedly on a port facility. President Trump confirming the attack Monday.
There was a major explosion in the dock area where they load the boats up with drugs. They load the boats up with drugs. So we hit all the boats, and now we hit the area. It's the implementation area. That's where they implement, and that is no longer around.
The president didn't say where or when or crucially who was responsible. Neither the White House nor the Pentagon responded to requests for more information.
The president is continuing more foreign policy talks this week, hosting, as you just saw, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Monday. CBS's Kamal Afzali reports Trump is leveling threats against Iran and Hamas while pushing for an Israel-Gaza peace deal.
He can be very difficult on occasion, but you need a strong man.
There was barely a sign of any private disagreements as President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stood publicly united at Mar-a-Lago in their first meeting since the fall. The president lobbed threats at Iran over Israel's fears that Tehran could be rebuilding its ballistic missile stockpile.
If it's confirmed, look, they know the consequences. Consequences will be very powerful.
The president threatened Hamas once again that if the group doesn't disarm, a key requirement to move his peace deal forward,
They'll be held to pay for them, and we don't want that.
Phase 1 also calls for Hamas to hand over the remaining Israeli hostages, alive or dead. But the body of Ran Gavili is still in Gaza. The leaders met with his family Monday. Meanwhile, Hamas says Israel is not upholding its end of Phase 1.
Israel's lived up to the plan, 100%.
The ceasefire has mostly held, but both sides accuse the other of violations. Humanitarian groups still warn of limits on the flow of aid into Gaza. Kamal Afzali, CBS News, London.
Well, closer to home, President Trump is ordering the deployment of federal troops to the city of New Orleans.
City and state leaders in Louisiana this time are actually requesting the National Guard for help patrolling the Big Easy ahead of some big events that include ramping up security during New Year's Eve celebrations, the Sugar Bowl, and Mardi Gras.
The deployment, which begins today, comes a year after a deadly attack on Bourbon Street. 14 people, you may recall, were killed when an Army veteran with ties to ISIS drove a truck into a crowd celebrating New Year's Eve.
The New Orleans Homeland Security Director says there's no specific threat to this year's celebration, but they are scaling up to provide a sense of security.
I did a tally during our briefing, and it appears that we're going to have close to 800 law enforcement downtown in the French Quarter, and I think that that's going to be outstanding. You're going to see an incredible visual presence in the French Quarter and throughout downtown over the rest of this week.
Bourbon Street will be closed to all vehicles beginning tomorrow, New Year's Eve.
New Orleans police are also responsible for deploying the barricades added to the French Quarter after last year's attack.
Developing now, a new break after months of mystery and heartbreak in Pine Bluff over the case of a missing woman, and authorities describe it as a major break in the search for Joynell Brandon. Police say they have a suspect. He is under arrest. He is charged with murder. THV 11's Tanya Motorzitsky shows us what investigators led to the man, and they believe he is responsible.
5 months, no body, and now an arrest. Pine Bluff police arrested Tony Thompson Jr. and charged him with murder of a missing woman, Joynell Brandon, as well as abuse of a corpse. Police say Tony did the crime on or about May 13th of this year. According to an affidavit, Brandon was last seen that same day. Records say she left with Thompson in a white box truck to go to All-in-One Wholesale Warehouse. Thompson told investigators he dropped her off within a block of her home and didn't know where she went after. That white truck he drove did not belong to him. The actual owner agreed to a police search, where court documents say they found a 9mm shell casing under the passenger seat, and that was enough for investigators to tow the car for a search warrant. The warrant says they found a Glock 17 which fits the casings in Thompson's home. Then May 17th, court records say Thompson's mom said her son took her car without permission and thought he was fleeing. Documents say that's when Thompson started a pursuit with Arkansas State Police. He then crashed and was taken into custody, where he still denied any involvement with Brandon's disappearance. The affidavit goes on to say the family started receiving ransom texts for $12,000 for Brandon's release. Court documents say a woman, Italia Thompson, picked up the ransom. Documents go on to say Italia told her sister she admitted to tying Brandon in a bag and putting her in a trunk and driving the vehicle into a lake. Then in July, the state crime lab confirmed Brandon's blood was inside the truck. Now, based on Brandon's blood, the shell casings from the gun, as well as Thompson's DNA being in the same truck, was enough for prosecutors to say he killed her and concealed her body.
That was Tanya Motorzitsky reporting. The suspect, Tony Thompson Jr., is currently being held on $1 million bond.
It is 10 after 7. Early voting starts today in the special state house primary that follows months of legal challenges. House District 70, which covers parts of North Little Rock and Sherwood, voting to replace former Representative Carlton Wing. He stepped down to become executive director and CEO for Arkansas PBS, now known as Arkansas TV. The governor initially set the special election for next summer, which would have left the district without representation during the upcoming fiscal session. But after a lawsuit from the Arkansas Democratic Party, the state Supreme Court cleared the way for today's early vote. The Democratic winner will face Republican Bo Renshaw in the March 3rd general election.
Right now, let's turn back to meteorologist Tracy Bean. She is doing double duty on the traffic, and it looks like
I'm trying to get some information here. I wanted to see if I could get some information on this accident. I know it's around exit 13. It's not showing it necessarily just yet on our traffic system here, but wanted to show you it's in Jacksonville. So where I showed you that accident a minute ago that was in Jacksonville right around TP White, and it was backed up to Vandenberg. Well, past that, but before 321 around exit 13, we've got this multi-vehicle accident. So it is blocking a lot of lanes here. It looks like only that right shoulder is getting through, and barely at that, having to kind of squeeze through and then make your way back over. So folks coming in from the Cabot area, again, it is going to be slow going this morning. Around the rest of the metro, things are looking good this morning. Again, just watching that accident that we are seeing, you can see it's just where everything, the backup was beginning to end before. So we're kind of starting over there, but it's right around exit 13. So take your time. Not seeing that backup just yet. I think the traffic volume is helping with that. But as we kind of get going here in this 7 o'clock hour, we may start to see a few of those areas start to back up. But I'll keep an eye on this. And again, it is slow going. So as you approach exit 13, as you're coming in from Cabot area, again, getting into Jacksonville, slow down because it is down to one lane, and at that, it's the shoulder and you're kind of weaving through. So take your time this morning. And weather, let's talk a little bit more about that. It's a little bit quieter today, although it is a little chilly out there. It is 24 degrees in the capital city and wind chills around 17. We've got a light wind around 6 miles per hour, still out of the north, but we're going to see that shift later today. Plenty of sunshine this morning, and we're going to see those winds shift more westerly. And so western Arkansas and southwest Arkansas will start to warm up a little bit before us, but it's going to set us all up for some warm weather to kick off the new year. Today's high will be in the low to mid 40s. Now for New Year's Eve, let's talk about this forecast. It's very important. Today is going to be the last day that we're seeing these below freezing temperatures in the morning time. Now it's still going to be a little chilly tomorrow morning, but plenty of that westerly flow is going to start to warm us up, and then it's going to shift a little bit more south. So even as we're heading into New Year's Eve, it's going to continue to warm up. But even tomorrow, we're looking for that high close to 60 degrees, and those warm temperatures will continue as we're heading into the next few days, really the next week and a half of 2026. That average high is right around 50, and we're going to hit 60 a few times in the next, I guess, 10 days or so.